Hi, kids. This is Dan Peña, the godfather of QLA, and welcome to my new series. As I mentioned in December of last year at Hardcore, which was the last seminar that we gave here at Guthrie, and probably from about late summer through December when we were giving seminars, I was doing a lot of interviews for two things. Number one, a documentary, which still hasn't come out. And number two, a article for the LA Times, which finally came out a week or two ago, right here on the front page. How LA Chicano came to set up shop in a Scottish castle. And it's a nice article. It's not the first time that I've been on the front page of the LA Times. As many of you know, I was part of a series that won a Pulitzer Prize in 1983. So I naively thought that the article was going to be a follow-up to that article in 1983. And it wasn't, for a number of reasons, not the least of which the other gentlemen that they alluded to in that article are either dead or didn't do so well in the last 30, 35 years of business. But the reason I mention it is it gave me a lot of time to think. And one of the things that I judge you by is not to think and to just pull the fucking trigger. But when you've got 7, 8, 9 months in between the first interview and the last interview, 9 interviews for the LA Times, we brought up a lot of things that I hadn't really thought about anymore. You've heard that I've been working since I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. Picking weeds in the valley. I'd forgotten that I used to park cars when I was 13 or 14 years old at a place called the Ram's Horn, which was a restaurant owned by the quarterback of the LA Rams in the valley. You heard about me being a box boy when I was 16. And then ultimately, I never seen my father take a day off. And so I've got a really high work ethic. And to date, with maybe one exception, I've never had a mentee, or a devotee for that matter, that has anything near my work ethic. So we knew we were going to be off for a few months. And for those of you that haven't followed my website, our next seminar is scheduled for late June this year. And we have another one scheduled for July this year. And as I told you during the filming of the Hardcore, I'm going to continue to do this as long as I'm having fun. Or I said I would say, as long as I'm having fun. And I'm still having some fun. In fact, I was disappointed, and I don't get disappointed easily, that we haven't had a seminar since December. I won't be so disappointed as soon as I have the seminar. Now, you all know, if you followed the last year's seminars during Corona lockdown, the castle has been Corona-proofed, as I say. We've added bedrooms and bathrooms, and so now all the bedrooms have their own separate bathrooms. And we're fully booked for this coming June. And one of the questions that I often get, either via my crack staff or Winnica, is when I say that we've got enough people for the next year or two. That's true. But life happens. Shit happens. We just had a guy drop out for June. We had to replace him. So for those of you that are interested, and even though we have a long waiting list, people drop out all the time. And if you prepaid, then you get that slot. But back to the history. So I decided to do the QLA Godfather. And not just giving the history of how I came up with some of the things I've come up with. I told the newspaper, and I told the documentary guy that hopefully the documentary will come out sooner than later, that why do I give all my product away free? And they asked a lot of questions, which aren't so difficult, really. But you've heard me say the reason why I give the product away free is, one, I want to take the last excuse away from you that why you can't do this. Because I went from the most expensive product 10 plus years ago to for free virtually overnight. Now, the last 15 or so months, the success with QLA has been unprecedented. As I commented, I believe both in November and December, we were roughly running at a rate of about twice the closure rates for deals being done. But it's tapered off. You kids have taken your foot off the accelerator the last 3 or 4 months. Even though I told you it's easier during Corona, and we've had countless people say that it's easier during Corona. Well, shit, if it's easier, then why work so hard? And that's what's happened. Although the closure rate is still above the norm, it's not what it was at the height of the pandemic. So I decided to not only have this QLA series, and I don't know how long I'll do it, but to clarify some things, because by the time we do a seminar, it's going to be another almost 2 months, and I would rather get the word out about certain aspects of QLA correctly. I was looking up recently, there's about 195 countries in the world. About 2/3 of those countries I've been to, about 120, 125. Of those 2/3 that I've been to, we have done QLA in about 2/3 of those 2/3. So of the 195 countries in the world, we've done QLA in about 75 or 80 countries. Okay, a little less than half. Mozambique, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know anybody doing any deals in Mozambique. Could be. Ethiopia, yes, we have done deals in Ethiopia. But to say the QLA works everywhere is absolutely true. Where it's more difficult is certain countries that have no rule of law. Another thing that came up during the interviewing for the newspaper is why on my website or on the YouTube, I don't list any comments. And I rarely, ever, even when we had comments, did I ever answer them. And I don't answer Twitter, and I don't answer LinkedIn. And so I was asked why. And an experienced journalist, now coincidentally, the journalist that wrote the article that I just showed you at the front page was a junior journalist in 1983 on the original article that got a Pulitzer Prize. Now, I haven't known him all these 37 years, but he's been around, so he's not a spring chicken that just, fell off the turnip truck. He wanted to know why I don't answer questions. He thinks he understood why I don't charge. And he just thinks that, like a lot of you, I'm trying to do good, be a do-gooder. I'm not going to explain it again. I'm not trying to be a do-gooder. But that's what the natural thought process is. Somebody gives something away. It's like when we give money to the poor. When Sally and I give money to the poor, we are being good. But me giving you my product free isn't part of that same thought process. And I told him that the reason why I don't want comments is because 99% of all the comments, since we started taking comments 10, 15 years ago, are exactly the same. There's no differentiation. Other than a guy may be from Manila, another guy may be from St. Petersburg, and another guy may be from Melbourne, Australia. It's the same fucking question. Now, you've heard many people say, I've said, I've read, I've listened to everything on Peña's site. I wish I had $1 for everybody that said they've looked at everything on my site. When it's bullshit lie, they haven't. Because if they have, and they read all the comments from the old days on YouTube and on LinkedIn and on Twitter, you know that every single question that's ever been asked has been answered. So that's why I'm not interested in your comments. The second reason, and they didn't understand this as well, neither the documentary guys or the newspaper guys, is since I'm not selling anything. Now, some of you will argue I'm selling the Castle Seminar. Okay. That aside, since I'm not really selling anything, why am I interested in your commentary? Because I'm not. Because it's the same commentary day after day, week after week, month after month, etc. Year after year. It hasn't changed since I started doing this. Now, my 28th anniversary is coming up. Another reason for this QLA Godfather, it's kind of, I don't know, we can call it, for those do-gooders in the audience, we can call it a do-good gift to you that I'm doing for my 28th anniversary, which is the 23rd of this month. I gave my first seminar at the Sheraton Hotel downtown Los Angeles. We had about 60 people that paid $1,000. And the whole seminar was 18 hours long with Q&A afterwards. So I was literally almost 24 hours. But the seminar hasn't changed since then. Another question that has come up even more recently, why don't I have new product? I don't have new product because nothing's changed. in 20, 25 years, vis-a-vis doing deals, seller's finance, commercial debt, and no equity. Nothing's changed. And I've commented on several occasions, the only thing that's really changed is the fact that you can raise money on the internet virtually for free. I've never done one of those deals, but I have countless mentees that have done deals where they raise the money on the internet just on their name. Now, in the last year or so, SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies, have raised their head. I said 6 months ago that it would probably end in tears. I sit down today, I just checked the numbers before I came on. 99% of all the SPACs that have been issued in the last year are selling below their issue price. Means they haven't gone up, they've gone down. And what SPACs have done, and we have a number of mentees that have done special purpose acquisition candidates, the most famous of which is Klaus Kleinfeld. He did a 300 million euros SPAC, I believe, is that now, because you have a time limit to spend the money with a SPAC, you've got up to 2 years. If you don't spend the money in 2 years, you've got to give the money back. Well, God knows nobody wants to give the money back. So now we have a lot of money chasing primarily shitty deals. And so now people that have shitty deals are getting paid what they shouldn't. But special purpose acquisition candidates are, at least 50 years old that I can recall. Now, what subsequently has happened before today is that Berkshire Hathaway had their annual meeting over the weekend. Again, I think I believe I told you that Sally a couple of years ago bought some Berkshire Hathaway stock, which I was not pissed off, but I was overwhelmed that there's a few $100,000 a share. So we could go to the last Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, which was a year ago this month, and it was canceled because of Corona. And this one was canceled because of Corona, and it was virtual. And Charlie Munger, who I like the heck out of him, and Warren got up there, and with his successor, he's appointed a successor, a guy named Abel, I believe. Now, and it's interesting, the guy to succeed Warren Buffett as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway is an oil guy. Energy. And remember I said, and I'm not suggesting he's a gunslinger. Remember I've suggested in the last few years, the only bastion of gunslingers, left on the planet are the oil business. And so he's named a very capable guy, Canadian guy, to be the CEO at Mr. Buffett's demise. But I hope the old guy lives for a long, long time. And I also hope the old curmudgeon, cantankerous Charlie Munger lives for a long, long time. Now, I want to take this opportunity, even though I got it later in my notes, to talk about Bitfuck. For those of you that will refresh your memory, I called the high, the former high of Bitcoin in December of 2017, when it was about $17,000, $18,000 a coin. It then fell down over the next year and a half to, I don't know, 4,000 or whatever. I didn't tell you to buy back in. And now more recently, it was up to $65,000 a coin, and more, maybe a few days ago, it was at around $50,000 a coin. Now, I said many years ago, if you knew who the fuck was behind Bitcoin, it would go to zero. And I continuously, when I do read the Twitter comments, because I read them, I just don't comment to them. And when I do read the link fuck comments, there's always at least one guy a day that reminds me that I said about a Bitcoin. They kind of get the words out of context. I didn't say it would go to zero. I said if you knew who was behind it, it would probably go to zero. Well, subsequent to that, now I knew this then, but now it's in the public domain, so it's no big fucking secret. The biggest producer of Bitcoins, is China. Now, depending on who you want to believe, between 50 and 75% of all Bitcoins made are made in fucking China. Now, that should be maybe not a red flag, but an amber flag for you meatheads. Okay. Number two, Because it takes a tremendous amount of energy, about $4,000 or $5,000 per kilowatt to make Bitcoin in America. I don't know what it costs there under slave labor. It's not going to be the manufacturing and polluting the air, because that's what it does when they make these Bitcoins, because you want to go to the cheapest area you can to produce electricity. That's the key. Okay. The second largest producer of Bitfuck is Russia. Not anywhere near as big as China, but Russia. And then there's 3 or 4 or 5 other places that are responsible for producing Bitcoin. Now you connect the dots, meatheads. You connect the dots. But now it doesn't matter who's behind Bitcoin to begin with 13, 14, 15 years ago. There's an old saying on Wall Street, you can't fight the tape. The tape are when you go to a brokerage office or you put the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ on your computer, there's a string of symbols that underneath, and it's the various prices of the various shares, bonds, etc., that are at that moment in time. And right now the tape says Bitcoin is going up. Okay. I had no idea, and I put it on my social media, but you guys don't bring this up, that when PayPal decided to take it as payment, when various other financial institutions decided to take it as payment, some of the big banks have decided to set up departments, Bitcoin departments, for their wealthy clients. And I can go on and on. When you think about it, the US dollar has no backing, because one of my principal complaints about Bitcoin, it has no financial backing. Well, either is the US dollar. The US dollar used to have financial backing back in the day, before all you fuckheads were born, but it has none. Now all it has is its, i.e., reputation, and its following. Well, Bitcoin has its following. I think it's too young to have a reputation yet. So it doesn't matter who owned it. I mean, if the Simpsons of television fame were behind Bitcoin, it doesn't matter now. And I, 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 months, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Now, that's my lead up, or my segue into what Charlie the Fuck Munger had to say about Bitcoin. He said words to the effect, it was a disgrace to humanity, and it was against the human race, and some other things, which I found quite amusing, some of which I agree with, but it doesn't really matter. Mr. Munger and I, our opinions are against what is reality. So how long this will last, I have no idea. I have no idea. Some people said the dollar was going to collapse back in the early 70s when it went off the gold standard. Well, here we are 50-some years later, and we haven't collapsed yet. So we'll see. I don't see China anytime soon reducing their production of Bitcoin. I'm not thinking about it vis-a-vis the pollution it's creating. I'm just thinking about the Bitcoins that they can produce. Because obviously their kilowatt per hour is significantly cheaper than the $4,000 or $5,000, at least at one time, that it produced, or it cost to produce Bitcoin in North America. Anyway. It's another reason why, that's an example, a long-winded example of why I don't answer questions, because I get a lot of comments about Bitcoin, and I don't answer them. And now once in a while in LinkedIn and once in a while in Twitter, one of you more intelligent meatheads comments. It's because it does, he's already answered it 1,000,000 times, which in most cases I have answered it. Maybe not 1,000,000 times, but a lot of times.